All praises to the Most High God, Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, forever and forever, so let it be true. Love, honor, and respect to the Heavenly Father Yahawah and to His Holy Son Yahawashi, who died for the 12 tribes of Israel. Matthew chapter 15, verse 24, Matthew chapter 10, verse 5 and 6. And double honors to the apostles of GMS, to the 4 major prophets, and to the 12 minor prophets, and to the hopeful elect, the brothers, the Akim, the 144,000, who are preaching the word of God on the 4 corners of this earth, risking their lives day in and day out. And peace and blessings to all my brothers, sisters, and children who are watching this videos. Shalom. We're on another lesson, and today is Saturday, July 5th, 2025. Tomorrow we'll continue on Ezekiel chapter 38. We're going to finish out the rest of the chapter. But today, when they just passed that big, beautiful bill, I want to talk about that and tie it in with scriptures. And we're going to talk about that today. The big, beautiful bill. And I'm deciding what the title is going to be. But God will punish America. Okay, and in the Holy Book, America, it's tied. There's a bunch of titles, and you have to tie them all together, and it's talking about America. All the books, especially your 4 major prophets, which is Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, and then you have the minor prophets. America is all over the Holy Book. Okay, so America is in the Bible is known as Babylon, Egypt, Greece, Rome. Okay, and sometimes it'll even say Assyria. Okay, it's twofold. We're going to get into scriptures today where God's talking about Egypt, but it's talking about America. Okay, you've got to remember the Edomites, Esau, the Greco-Romans, they worshipped the gods of Egypt. That's why on your dollar bill it shows the pyramid. All right, and then in Washington D.C. you have the obelisk. You have an obelisk that goes back to Egypt. Matter of fact, they're from Egypt, and there's one in New York City, and in the Vatican they have an obelisk. Look up the obelisk. All right, but they worship your senators, your president, your Congress. All right, your lobbyists, the illuminated ones on the left-hand side. They worship Egypt. They worship the ancient Assyrians, the ancient Babylonians. Okay, all your Greek boys and Roman boys used to get on their knees and worship the idols of Assyria, Babylon, and Egypt. Okay, you can go back to the ancient Mycenaeans and the Minoans. They were on the islands, the Greek islands. They all worship the Egyptian gods. Okay, but going back to this, the title I'm most likely going to put up, it's going to be the war on the people. Okay, because they're going to wage war on the citizens of America. Okay, they're bringing it all down, and we've been saying this for months, for years, but now it's moving quickly. All right, it's called warp speed. It's moving quick. This big, beautiful bill is for the billionaires and the trillionaires. All right, everybody underneath them is going to be destroyed. Yeah, even millionaires. Millionaires are they're flunkies. All right, they're going to be down there on the bottom. They're going to be destitute. This this big beautiful bill is to purge. All right, for every they're setting you up. It's a trap to purge the government, purge the corporations, purge the retail, purge all the jobs, city, state, and government. All right, they're going to make you penniless. You're going to be destitute, and you're going to beg for the devil's chip because they control the food. All right, it's called hunger pains. All right, the last 100 years, no one's ever seen a great famine, especially here in America. You've lived a nice, charmed life. Now, there's other parts of the world that have faced famine. In Africa, there's famine right now happening over there in Palestine. All right, and they're actually shooting the people. They're only bringing in so much food over there. There's actually starvation and famine is happening right now in Palestine. All right, there's a genocide going on over there. All right, and the branches of government, Israel and NATO, they're all behind it. Like I said, they're the children of the devil, Satan's children. Okay, and they're keeping a lot of this out of the news. All right, they'll show little bits and pieces there in Palestine, but they're not giving you the whole truth of what's really happening. Okay, you got to go onto those third world news in the Middle East, China, India. You got to go to their news, and they show more of what's happening out there in Palestine, in the Middle East. And don't think that there's any peace. There's not going to be no peace until the Lord comes back. Okay, but right now they're purging the United States. It's over. It's called the fourth turning. All right, and that goes back to the Holy Book. All right, this is the last purge, the last fourth turning. So let's get into it. We're just going to talk a little bit about it, and I'm going to go right into the scriptures. The cuts that are coming for rural Americans. All right, if you live in small towns out there in nowhere land, all them small hospitals, they're gone. Clinics gone, because they're the government, you know, had billions of dollars, and they kept them going. All these small towns, hospitals, nursing homes, it's all being cut now. Okay, so you're gonna have mass layoffs, tens and tens of millions unemployed. Okay, so they're gonna cut Medicaid, Medicare. They're saying they're gonna cut $1 to $3 trillion. Okay, millions of people will lose health insurance. They'll stop paying for prescription medications, and that's going to be hard on a lot of people, because America is obese. Okay, they know nothing about food. Right? They go to these grocery stores, and all the corporations that make you see anything in a box, it's filled with fillers, sugar, and all kinds of chemicals. And that's why everybody is sick. Okay, that's one of the blessings of Esau, the dew of heaven. And they defile everything. They defile the farms. They defile the water. They defile the air. They defile everything. They're a cancer to the earth. Okay, that's why you got to make your own food. Or you're gonna have no choice, because they're not gonna pay for your medication, especially people that have diabetes, type 1 diabetes, type 2. That medication is expensive. All right, so, and they're saying 50 to 100,000. With this being passed, 50 to 100,000 people will die a year without their medication. People who have high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I mean, you have all these people with that are having heart attacks, strokes. Like I said, America's obese, the most unhealthy country on the face of the earth. There's no other place like this. I mean, it's just disgusting. with all these fast food restaurants and the commercials and the brainwashing that they do with these commercials. That television is brainwashing, mind control. All right, they've been brainwashing you, and that's all they push is these commercials with fast food, entertainment, all this. What is that? Those reality shows. I mean, people are just totally gone. But food, people are gonna feel it now. But like I said, in the Holy Book, in the beginning of Genesis, God made the plants. And when it talks about the plants, He's talking about the fruit, the vegetables, and He's talking about the herbs. You could be healed. You got to educate yourself. Okay. You gotta make your own food, and you could beat anything. Okay, I came back about 10 years ago. They said I had diabetes. Okay, because I was big on if I had dinner, I always had a dessert. Okay, I love cake, pies, cannolis, baklava, everything. I love sweets, but I stopped eating the sweets. I end up walking away. And if I have time, we'll probably do a 3-5 days how to beat diabetes. And I beat it. All right. Those doctors told me I was going to drop dead, that I needed to be on medication right there. And I walked away. And I went back to a Mediterranean diet, which if you go Mediterranean, you won't have no sickness. People in the Mediterranean live to 100 to 110 years old. Those are the most healthy people in the world are from the Mediterranean. All right. The second place where people live a long life is Japan. They eat a lot of vegetables, and they eat those Japanese sweet potatoes. So those two places, the Mediterranean is the most healthy because they have the olive oils, they eat the fish, a lot of greens, soups. Okay, and then it goes Japan. But that's on another lesson. But you're gonna have to start making your own food, and you better start doing it now because they said within the next few weeks they're gonna start cutting. It's gonna be bad. And like I said, in World War II, Hitler, remember, he purged the elderly and the handicapped. They're gonna have no mercy on handicapped, the mentally retarded, or the elderly. You guys are the first ones to go. So people that are in their 70s, 80s, 90s, they have a bullseye on you. They want to purge, and they are purging. Okay. But like I said, you have to fight the good fight. And I'm going to come out with more back in the kitchen. And then I have a daughter. She's been studying herbs for I would say close to 30 years. And I'm going to have her bring out a lot of information. She's dedicated her whole life to herbs. Okay, so we're going to try to push as many videos that we can because we're in that time. We believe in helping our brothers and sisters. All right, because we've been they put us in these schools, and those schools were to brainwash you to obey the system. All right, these teachers from elementary to middle school, high school, and college, they never bring out. They don't know the truth. They don't even know the truth. They can't even survive in America. Okay, but you all been brainwashed. All right, but schools were set up for you to obey the system, work your 9 to 5, pay your taxes, and shut your mouth. Okay, they don't want you to have a mind to think. Okay, when you start to rebel, even when you're in 3rd grade, 5th grade, they want to put you on medication. They said they'll mark you, they'll demonize you, saying there's something wrong with your child. And you might be one of those kids that were in school that you bucked up to the system. I was one. I never believed these people since kindergarten. I knew these people were full of it. All right. And when you start to buck up against the teachers, then they send you to get they want to, they want to make you do these tests, all right, and then they want to put you on medication. Any sign that you're rebel against this system, they want to put you on some type of drug, and they'll demonize you. All right, that's how the system works, man. It's all been set up. But let's get right into it. So they're gonna stop. Millions of people will lose their health insurance, stop paying for their prescription medications. Nursing homes benefits reduced. A lot of people that are in these new nursing homes, 24-hour care, they're going to be cut. All right, so you're going to have nurses, staff, no more job, and you're going to have all these people that need 24-hour care. You're on your own. They don't care. Okay, like I said, we're in that time of the purge, and they're purging the population. So nursing homes are out. Food assistance cuts. They're going to stop all food in schools. And most poor people don't buy good food. You can give all the food stamps you want. These mothers, they have no education, especially when it comes to food. They're buying their kids cereal, anything in a box. Run for your life. All right, especially cereal. It has so much sugar, and that's why these kids are bouncing off the walls. All right, they put so much sugar, and it's like I said, man, these people want you sick and your children. It's time to wake up out of your sleep. But now there ain't gonna be no food. All right, they're cutting the food stamps. They're gonna cut housing. They're cut HUD. Everything's gonna be cut. There's gonna be millions in the streets, and they got the concentration camps already for people that rebel, fight against the system. You're gonna get picked up. And that's that. All right, and there's going to be a lot of mass suicide because people don't know this truth. They don't know how to endure these hard times. Okay, and that's why you brothers and sisters got to get strong. And you have people here watching from the sidelines. It's time to man up. You women are going to have to woman up. And your number one, your mind should be on the Holy Book. Right, your mind, because the Word of God will give you peace, comfort. All right, you have to have that hope and faith, and you'll endure. We went through it for decades. All right, a lot of you brothers and sisters just got into this. We're already on third base, heading home. We were around on first base, second base when back in the 70s and 80s, getting persecuted. And it took a toll on our bodies. Okay, I started getting gray hair at 20 years old. Okay, it takes a toll on the body and the mind. And I always had high blood pressure. So like, I eat a lot of greens now, and that drops my blood pressure. And I exercise, I walk, but you got to get healthy. You need to get strong mentally, physically, and spiritually with God. Okay, so it says it's going to be it will bring about widespread job loss and surge in poverty, causing the number of people who cannot afford housing to soar far beyond that you can't even imagine what's going to happen. All right, with all this cuts to Section 8, HUD, it's just going to get hard on people. Surging construction costs and tariffs is making everything just get more expensive. So, like I said, it's a war on the people. They're going to bring down this U.S. economy, and then the whole world's economy is going down. All right, and then you see all these floods, natural disasters. There was flooding in Texas. They were saying a couple, 2-3 dozen children are missing. That's going to continue. Okay, God's going to start bringing the wrath down on this country because you're into the girls with the girls, the boys with the boys, the abortions. The people here are wicked because people They want to know, like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Well, we're telling you why it's happening. When society becomes evil, God brings judgment on the earth. All right? This is just you're just seeing just the beginning of sorrows. Just the beginning. Every day that goes by, it gets worse and worse. But we're going to get right into the scriptures. And I want to read, because these people that follow Donald Trump, people that followed Biden and Kamala, and it goes back to the Obama, the Clintons, the Bushes, they're all psychopaths, okay? And they're liars. All right? But you have people that really believe that these politicians are for the people. All right? They don't care about the people. They only care about themselves. That's why the big, beautiful bill is for billionaires and trillionaires. All right? Let's read out of this translation right here. We're going to go to the Holy Book of Psalms. And we're always going to back it up with the Holy Scriptures. Everything. We tie everything with the news. We'll bring out the news, but we'll tie it with the Holy Book. Because the Holy Book is headline news. Everything you need to know is in the Holy Book. The past, the present, and the future. So we're going to go to Psalms chapter 144. The Holy Book of Psalms 144, verse 8. Whose mouth speaks lying words, and whose right hand is a right hand of falsehood. Everybody, all these people who follow Trump, MAGA, whatever they want these people call themselves, man. They're in a demonic occult that follow this man. Okay? And they're going to get cut. All those states in Tennessee, Kentucky, all those, what do they call them, red states? All these people, and they're like middle class, poor to middle class people. Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Missouri, Texas. I mean, you're going to be purged. He's going to take his own people out. Edomites will take out Edomites. All right? And they're taking it all. They're taking. Not only are they going to come after the tribes, they're coming after you too. All right? You're on the bullseye. All right? But everything they speak is a lie. Whose mouth speaks lying words. All right? Because the Republicans are trying to say this is a good thing. You have a lot of misinformation out there. All right? It's a lot of misinformation. They pass these laws against you. All right? Just like what happened in 9/11. That was to really start bringing down laws against you with travel. They have that their surveillance with artificial intelligence. I mean, everything. They're setting everything up where it's going to be a police state. You're not going to be able to leave the city. People in the country won't be able to go into the city. You're going to have that mark just to jump on an airplane to go out of state. Like I said, your people can't even understand the true how far this is. Like I said, if you don't have your mental, if you're not strong mentally, I mean, people are just gonna be. They're just gonna. They're falling apart. They're losing it. People are unhinged, but they can't really see this picture. They don't have that vision. Like we have that vision. We can see what's coming, and not only that, we can see it. We can feel it. All right. We're in a world war, and there's going to be lockdowns. You're going to be locked down in your homes. And then people are not prepared for the job losses, which starts as a recession and it goes into a depression. When you can't find a job, mentally you get depressed. And then you go to alcohol and drugs. And you'll never recover after that. All right? So like I said, you got to get strong mentally, physically, and spiritually. What's coming, very few people are going to make it. And you got to live a humble lifestyle. Like the prophets, we live a humble lifestyle. We know how to sacrifice. All right? We're not at the clubs. We're not at the casinos. We're not out there at football games and basketball games spending our credit cards and spending money foolishly. Like these people, they're going on vacations and they're in debt. If you're using a credit card and you're in debt, I mean, you need your brain checked. All right? It's going to catch up to you. You're going to get they're going to sue you, they're going to take you to the courts, and they're going to throw you in concentration camps. They're coming for their debt. They're not going to forgive no debt. All right? They want you to be on your knees. All right? But going back to the scripture here, Psalms 144 and 8. These leaders, these politicians that you have, whose mouth speaks lying words. Everything that comes out of their mouth is a lie. Now we're going to go to Psalms 58. Go to Psalms 58. We'll start with verse 3. The Holy Book of Psalms, chapter 58, verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. Right when they come out of the womb, they speak lies. You'll know who these people are, because everything that comes out is a lie. They go astray as soon as they are born, speaking lies. All right? That's your mayors, your governors, your politicians, your president, your Congress, and your Senate. All right? Everything that comes out of their mouth is a lie. They go astray as soon as they are born, speaking lies. Their poison is like a poison of a serpent. All right? They cause great harm on the people. Or that poison. All right? It causes anxiety, stress, strokes, and heart attacks. Because they're not going to handle. People are just barely surviving on their Social Security. I believe they said over 60% of Americans that are retired depend on their Social Security. All right, and they're rarely scraping by. They're just living month to month. All right, a lot of things are going to get cut, especially when they cut that Medicare and Medicaid. You know, medication is expensive. Just going to the doctors is expensive. And then when you're elderly, you're going to have a hard time trying to find a job. They're not hiring old people. All right. Like I said, if you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, I mean, it's bad. But their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the death cobra that stops its ear, which will not heed to the voice of the charmers, charming ever so skillfully. And who are the charmers? The prophets. We're out here bringing out this truth. And they see us, these your politicians, your senators, your Congress, but they close their ears. All right? Well, they're the children of Satan. So, you know, I mean, they're doing what they do on the left-hand side, which is wickedness. All right? So their poison is like the poison of a serpent, because they are the children of the serpent. All right? And they only care about themselves. All right? They want to make their millions, billions of dollars for themselves, have their own companies, but they don't care about the average citizen. They don't care about you. But this is it. All right? The last 20, 30 years, people have been struggling month to month, but this is the nail in the coffin. All right? You're going to be destitute. But it says they are like the death cobra that stops its ears. They close their ears to this truth. And most of these people, they don't want to hear no truth. Right? They love to listen to the lies that the big, beautiful bill is good for you. And they believe it. You have all these people that believe this. But we're out here, and they said they will not heed to the voice of the charmers, charming ever so skillfully. Okay? Now we're going to get into the good stuff here. We're going to go to Isaiah chapter 19. The holy book of Isaiah chapter 19. One of the greatest prophets who walked the earth was Isaiah. All right, beautiful book. God will punish Egypt. And this is talking about America. Okay, like we were talking about earlier. When you see Egypt, it's twofold. It's talking about when God destroyed Egypt in the times of Moses, and it's talking about the end of the age. God will punish Egypt. God will punish America. Isaiah chapter 19 verse 1. This is the message about Egypt. The Lord Yahawah is coming to Egypt, riding swiftly on a cloud. When it says he's coming back, he's sending his son back on a cloud. That cloud is twofold. It's talking about a chariot. And that's all over the Bible. In the book of Ezekiel, in Psalms, it talks about the chariots. In the holy book of Revelation, the chariots of God are coming back. All right. Now your Protestants and your Roman Catholic Church, they'll brainwash you and say those are demons. No, they're the demons. The Roman pagan church, the Protestants, the Islam, they're the demons. All right, and remember, they're all together on the left-hand side. The Roman pagan church, the Protestants, and the branches of government, those Zionists in Israel, the Vatican, and NATO. They're all together on the left-hand side. Those are the children of the devil. All right. So when you see where it says, riding swiftly on a cloud, that's a chariot of the Most High, Yahawashi. Yahawashi is coming back in a huge chariot, like when you see in the movie Independence Day. All right. They show you in the movies those Zionists in Hollywood control those Hollywood studios. They know that God's coming back in the chariots. All right. Matter of fact, let's go right into Ezekiel, just to read a couple verses. And here's another major prophet, was Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel chapter 1. We'll start with verse 3. There in Babylonia, beside the Kabar River, I heard the Lord Yahawashi speak to me, and I felt his power. I looked up, and I saw a windstorm coming from the north. Lightning was flashing from a huge cloud. That huge cloud is a chariot of Yahawashi. And the sky around it was glowing where the lightning was flashing. Something shone like bronze at the center of the storm, and I saw what looked like 4 living creatures in human form. And that bronze, when he seen Yahawashi, when he seen the angels, there were bronze, olive skin, bronze, olive oil. The skin shines. Like every day I put the olive oil, extra virgin in my hair in my beard and my body. Been doing that since I was a young boy. All the men of the Holy Land puts the olive oil, and then we put the frankincense and many oils on us. All right, there's rose, there's just so many you rub on your body, and it keeps you at peace. And the smell is just beautiful from the trees, the plants, and the flowers. But when Ezekiel, when he says right here, from a huge cloud and the sky around it was glowing, where the lightning was flashing, something shone like bronze. And that's when he's seen Yahawashi, and that goes back into Revelation, the book of Daniel. It tells you how God looks. It's not that picture that you see that they have at the churches with that guy that looks like a real stringy hair. He looks like a beach bum. That's not how God looks. All right. Yahawashi, he looks like a man. He has a white beard, his hair is white, and his skin color is dark bronze olive skin. All right. And he has a hard face. He's a man of sorrows, a man who is distressed. He's not coming back with cookies and lollipops and cupcakes. He's angry. He's distressed of the evil on the four corners of this earth. And he was a man of authority. He was his voice was loud. You could hear him from over a mile away when he would preach. And all the prophets were rude in speech. Look up that. Google, rude in speech. In the old 1611 King James Bible, it says rude in speech. Now you have the watered down Bibles like the NIV. They took that out. They don't want you to know that the prophets were rude in speech. And Yahawashi, he was rude in speech. And his voice, and he spoke with authority. And it says, at the center of the storm, I saw what looked like 4 living creatures in human form, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. Their legs were straight, and they had hoofs like that of a bull, and they shone like polished bronze. In addition to their 4 faces and 4 wings, they each had 4 human hands, one under each wing. 2 wings of each creature were spread out so that the creature formed a square. When they moved as a group without turning their bodies. Each living creature had 4 different faces: a human face in front, a lion's face at the right. That human face was Yahawashi. All right, and the lion's face at the right, the tribe of Judah, the lion, the biggest tribe of Israel. A bull's face at the left, and an eagle's face at the back. The eagle represents speed. All right, and that bull is when they sacrificed, it was purity. And the 2 wings of each creature were raised so that they touched the tips of the wings of the creatures next to it, and their other 2 wings were folded against their bodies. Each creature faced all 4 directions, and so the group could go wherever they wished without having to turn. Among the creatures, there was something that looked like a blazing torch constantly moving. The fire would blaze up and shoot out flashes of lightning. The creatures themselves darted back and forth with speed of lightning. That's when people go out there and they see UFOs, unidentified flying objects. They see it at one spot and it's just gone. Well, they move like lightning. All right. God's technology makes sure the U.S. Air Force, their planes, the F-16s, all right, look like beat up junkyard technology. All right. Your technology, the United States Air Force, is nothing compared to God's technology. All right. The power of the angels. One angel could kill everybody on the face of the earth. One angel. Just imagine the power of Yahawashi. Yahawashi's power is stronger than all the angels of heaven. And he's about to put, the prophets are about to have their power. All right. Just like King David. He had superpowers. He was a man that killed tens of thousands of men with a sword. That's in the Holy Book. That's how Hollywood got the superheroes from the Holy Book. Abraham killed thousands of men with the sword. He had superpowers. All the great men had superpowers. And we're about to get them back. All right? The shackles are on us right now, but God's going to give the power back to his prophets, and then to the 144,000, and to you brothers, sisters, and children. You'll have power too. All right, so let's go back to Isaiah chapter 19, where he says the Egyptian, it says right here, the Lord Yahawashi is coming to Egypt. He's talking about coming back to America, riding swiftly on a cloud, and the Egyptian idols tremble before him. And the people of Egypt lose their courage. They will lose their courage. Your military, your army, your navy, your Marines, your Air Force will lose courage. The men of the land, the women and the children, they look up in the skies and they see the chariots of the Almighty God. When they see Yahawashi and the angels, great fear will fall upon this earth. And the Lord says, I will stir up civil war in Egypt. That's happening right now. All right, with this big, beautiful bill earlier in the year where they're purging the 15 major American departments, and then you have 500 small departments. They're purging them. All right? Be grateful for what you have, for soon there will be nothing. And there's nothing great about nobody on this earth. God set up this system. All right? Now he's bringing it all down. The Most High is behind it. He controls the right and the left. There's nothing great about you. I don't care how many businesses you have. I don't care how much money you have in the bank. God's taken everything away, and there's nothing you could do about it. The only people that are going to be saved are God's elect. Right? I don't worry about food. I don't care about money. God takes care of me every day. But people who worry, people who are greedy, people whose heads are in the clouds, a rude awakening's coming. Because the whole world belongs to Yahawah and to his son Yahawashi, the whole world. But he's gonna share the world and the universe with his people, God's elect, who obey the words of God. But the rest are doomed. And that's why he says right here, I will stir up civil war in Egypt. He's talking about America, and turn brother against brother and neighbor against neighbor. That's already happening. Democrats against Republicans, Republicans against Democrats. All right? You have the people who are bitter, filled with hate. All right? And they're gonna, and the Rothschilds are going to sit back, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, and let the people kill each other. Let the games begin. All right? And when you take all these food stamps and you take the housing, Section 8, HUD, away from people, they're going to get angry. You take their jobs away, people are going to go out and protest. They're going to burn cars, they're going to burn buildings. That's that civil war, race wars, anarchy. We'll be living in a time of a great crisis. Okay? That's when they're going to bring in martial law. The tanks in every major city will come into the cities. All right? They're going to put barbed wire fences on the highways. He says right here, I will stir up civil war in Egypt. Who's going to stir up? The Most High. That's Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. The Most High controls the right, which when he controls the right, he's with the prophets to the end of time. And the 144,000 and the brothers and sisters and children, the great multitude, he's with us to the end of time. But on the left-hand side, God is stirring up civil war, race wars, economic collapse. Your pensions and your 401 and your IRA is worthless. Your Wall Street and the whole system was a Ponzi scheme. All right, you got bamboozled. It says rival cities will fight each other and rival kings will struggle for power. I am going to frustrate the plans of the Egyptians and destroy their morale. They will ask their idols to help them. The gods of Egypt, the gods of Assyria, the gods of Babylon, the gods of Greece. But they're just idols. They're worthless. They will ask their idols to help them. They're going to go to the astrology. They're going to go to mediums. They're going to go, what's going to happen in the future? I'll tell you what's going to happen in your future. You're going to lose everything. It's downhill from here. You got to pay the piper. Great judgment is going to fall upon your head and your children's head. God is taking everything away from you. That's your future. And you're going to be in slavery. We're going to put shackles on you. Watch the movie, Planet of the Apes, 1966 with Charles Heston. Shows you your future. Shows America destroyed. It's called the Forbidden Land, and all the monkeys in the movie were reading Bibles. All right, those Jews were behind. They know the truth. They know what's coming. That's why they're going all out right now. That's why they're on a rampage. They're going to try to live it up, but they're going to take everybody out. They're going to try their best. All right. But in the end, they're going to lose. They will ask their idols to help them, and they will go and consult mediums and ask. They will ask their idols to help them, and they will go and consult mediums and ask the spirits of the dead for advice. I will hand the Egyptians over to a tyrant. You know who the tyrant is, all right? Your president, your Congress, your Senate, the Rothschilds, because they're going to bring in those draconian laws. All right, your head is about to spin. What's about to come? I will hand the Egyptians over to a tyrant, to a cruel king who will rule who will rule them. I, the Lord Almighty Yahawah, have spoken. And the water will be low in the Nile, and the rivers will gradually dry up. The channels of the river will stink as they slowly go dry. Reeds and rushes will wither. Right? That's talking about all your rivers here in America, the Mississippi, your lakes over there in Minnesota, right? They're going to dry up. All the fish are going to die. The same plagues that God put down on Egypt when Moses was walking the earth. And YAHAWASHI was with Moses. So let my people go. The 12 tribes were living in Egypt in slavery back then. And the 12 tribes are here in America in slavery. We're in captivity. And we're calling out to God in the ancient Hebrew name, Yahawah, Bahashem, in the name of his son, his holy son, YAHAWASHI, our Lord, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. There was no J's in the ancient days. That's a new thing. His name is not Jesus, Yeshua, Yahweh. Right? They kept the real name. They know. The Rothschilds know the name. They don't want no one to know. They know we have it. And that's why they smash our channels. They terminate us, our channels and our videos. Because the more people that call upon that name, it's the end of them. All right? They're the end of the world. They're done. We have the ancient name, and we're magnifying his holy name to the world. Just to a small group. The little flock. Look up the little flock. He says right here, everyone who earns his living by fishing in the Nile will groan and cry. Their hooks and their nets will be useless. Those who make linen cloth will be in despair. Weavers and skilled workmen will be broken and depressed. That's talking about all the jobs. That's going to be a time when there ain't going to be no jobs. All right? The economy will collapse. There'll be bank holidays. People will run to banks to pull their money out, and they're going to have those banks shut down. Okay? People are going to run to the ATMs, and you might have a limit of $10 a day, $20 a day, or you might not be able to get no money out of the bank. All right? Your 401, your pensions, your IRA is worthless. This will be the days of punishment that are coming to America. And there ain't gonna be no jobs. 7-Eleven, Burger Kings, all these corporate fast food restaurants, they're already starting to shut down now. No one has money. The poor people, middle class people, they can't afford a Happy Meal. All right. The leaders of the city of Zoan are fools. Egypt's wisest men give stupid advice. Now he's talking about your Congress, your Senate, your governors, your mayors. Stupid. Egypt's wisest men give stupid advice. How do they dare to tell the king that they are successors to the ancient scholars and kings? Kings of Egypt, where are those clever advisors of yours? Perhaps they can tell you what plans the Lord Almighty Yahawah has for Egypt, has for America. The leaders of Zoan and Memphis are fools. They were supposed to lead the nation, but they have misled it. Then the Lord Yahawah Yahawashi has made them give confusing advice. As a result, Egypt does everything wrong and staggers like a drunk, slipping on its own vomit. No one in Egypt, rich or poor, important or unknown, can offer help. There's no help for Babylon the Great, Egypt, Greece, the Greco-Roman, Herodian Empire. There's no help for you. No one's coming to help you. The children of wickedness. All right, your day has come. These days are fast approaching, and no one can stop it. The words of prophecy are coming to pass. People looked at the holy book like it was a joke. Now the joke is on you. Egypt will worship the Lord. And now when he says Egypt will worship the Lord, he's talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. 1/3 will be saved because all 12 tribes are here. We're scattered on the four corners of this earth. We're everywhere. But the majority of the house of Judah, Benjamin, and Levite, all the prophets, the minor prophets, we're right here in America condemning the whore who sits on the beast. That whore is America. The beast is the Greco-Roman Empire. We're here condemning the wicked. It says, a time is coming when the people of Egypt will be as timid as women. That's going to be when World War III, we're going into that second quarter. When you see the economic collapse, you'll see pestilence, you'll see the plague, you'll see anarchy, the cities on fire. They will be timid as a woman. You're going to see full-grown men. You're going to see those NFL football players, those basketball players, baseball, soccer, all your movie stars that you look up to. They're all bums. You're going to see them holding onto the toilets, shaken. All right, they're going to be timid. That's what he says right here. They will be timid as a woman. They will tremble in terror when they see that the Lord Yahawashi, the Almighty, has stretched out his hand to punish them. And the people of Egypt will be terrified of Judah, Benjamin, and Levite every time they are reminded of the fate that the Lord Almighty Yahawashi has prepared for them. And when they see us, he's talking about seeing the prophets in their garments with their beards prophesying against the kingdoms of this earth. They will be terrified. And in that time, God will give us power to bring down fire and hail, tornadoes, hurricanes on this earth. That goes back to Revelation chapter 7, when the prophets and the 144,000 men are sealed, and the angels with the prophets are going to bring wrath, great wrath upon this earth, because the people did not hearken unto the word of God. And when that time comes, the Hebrew language will be spoken. And that's happening right now. The ancient Hebrew language will be spoken here in Egypt, in America, starting with the name, the ancient Hebrew name of Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi. All right, the 1/3 of the 12 tribes are learning the ancient Hebrew. And when that time comes, the Hebrew language will be spoken in 5 Egyptian cities, and the people there will take their oaths in the name of the Lord Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi, the Almighty. And one of the cities will be called City of the Sun. And when that time comes, there will be an altar to to the Lord Yahawah in the land of Egypt, and a stone pillar dedicated to him and the Egyptian on the Egyptian border. That pillar is that when we see the chariots are going to be over us, and there's going to be beams of light. And he says, and there will be symbols of the Lord Yahawah Shai, the Almighty's presence in Egypt. His presence will be here in America. When the people there are oppressed and call out to the Lord Yahawah Shai for help, he will send someone to rescue them. And the Lord will reveal himself to the Egyptian people, and they will acknowledge and worship him. And this is talking about God's elect. Because you have brothers and sisters that are watching that were in a Gentile state of mind, of an Egyptian, of an American, of a Greek, a Roman, an Anglo-Saxon. They were in a mind of a Gentile, but now he's going to come out of that, and he's going to call upon the ancient Hebrew name. The brothers, sisters, and children, they're coming out of their deep sleep. You know, you were walking around like the Walking Dead. You were actually in a coma, all right? But now you're coming out of your coma. Miracles do happen. And it says, the Lord Yahawah Shai will reveal himself to the Egyptian people, and they will acknowledge and worship him and bring him sacrifices and offerings. They will make solemn promises to him and do what they promise. And that's during the Passover, where all this men come together during Passover. And all you brothers, sisters, and children are learning this truth. I'm going to go ahead and cut it short. We're going to continue tomorrow. There is more scriptures to this, so there's going to be a part 2. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for watching. All praises to the Most High God, Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawah Shai, forever and forever. So let it be true. And don't let Satan take your dignity. Fight the good fight. Never quit. Have faith and hope in the ancient Hebrew name of Yahawah Shai, and you'll make it to the finish line. We're in tribulation, but we're going to win this. Thank you for watching.